Hi everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs, and my project today is a mini wine bottle box. I did something similar to this. It was a little bit smaller, and at Thanksgiving time, I believe, and I put nuts in it, but I needed something to go on these mini wine bottles. They're white Zinfandel, and they're 187 milliliters, which is about 6.3 ounces. And these, the ones I got, that's weird, are from Woodbridge, from my local liquor store. And I used the Love You Always Specialty Designer Series paper with the Love You Always foil sheets, the Many Heart dies, the Hydrangea Haven stamp set and Hydrangea dies, and also some of the So Ombre Saleabration 6x6 paper and metallic edged ribbon on this again. Okay, now this looks like it might be complicated, but it's really not. It's relatively simple to do. Okay, so let's start off with a piece of the same DSP, the Love You Always Specialty DSP. And I actually cut this. I think you should, if you have a pattern, it should be going this way. Okay, we need a piece of the specialty paper that is 7 1/4 by 6 1/4. And I'm gonna get my Simply Score. And we're gonna start on the 7 1/4 side at the top. Okay, and we're going to score it at 1 1/8, 2 1/4, 3 3/8, 4 1/2, 5 5/8, and 6 3/4. And then we're going to turn it to the 6 1/4 side, and we're going to score it at 1 1/4 and 5. And that's it. Alrighty, so we're just going to fold and burnish these now. Okay, so we're going to start with our skinny rectangle on the right hand side. Now both of these are 1 1/4 inch, the top squares and the bottom squares. So you could do it either way, whichever way you wanted your paper to be. If you had a top and bottom this way, you could flip it around and have it on your left. But I'm going to do it on my right here. And I'm going to start right at the bottom here with this lowest rectangle. And I'm going to take that out and just take a little wedge out of the piece above it. And then follow it up all the way and just take a little wedge out of the top of that one up there. We're not going to cut this one off. Usually we do, but this time we're leaving that. Alright, and then on the bottom here, we're just going to cut apart. Don't worry about cutting out lines or anything. Just cut it right, all the squares right apart. Okay. So that's what it's going to look like. Whoops, you're going to see my writing again. Just like that, okay? With all of these on the bottom cut apart. Now you need a hole punch. Okay, so all of these at the bottom are loose. Alrighty, and my light sometimes makes this look like it's gold, but it's not. It's just like the same color as the paper, but in a foil, in case you were wondering. Okay, so now we need our hole punch. Okay, so we have our skinny rectangle on the right hand side, and we're going to start over here. And you want to bend your 2 squares, and we're going to take about 1/4 of an inch down and 1/4 of an inch in. We're just going to put a hole in both of them, okay? And then we're going to go to the next line between squares and do it again. Okay. So, I mean, and then they should they should be matched up, but I really went all over on here, but that's okay. So now we're moving to this score line here. I'm going to bend it on the score line and poke holes again. Move to this one. Okay, move to this one. And then we're going to do it with the little piece that's folded over, just in case we need to stick it through that. Yeah, it's going to probably get in the way, so we need a hole in that. Okay, now we need some tear and tape. And we're going to put it down this one, right up next to the score line as close as we can get without going over. Okay. Take your pick tool, and I'm just going to take off the cover. Roll back anything that's where it shouldn't be. Okay, and I'm going to fold that down and fold the other half to meet it. Okay, so this is going to be our back, but it really doesn't matter. By accident, I've made my front where the seam comes together, and you really can't notice, but we'll try to get that in the back again. All right, so we're going to stand it up just like this, and this you have to use liquid glue for, because the tear and tape, I think, would be a little too difficult. All right, so just try to get it into the shape that you want. Okay, and I want you to bend down the squares that are on the sides and use the ones that are right in front of you and right across from it, okay? Bend down one, put some liquid glue on the top half only of the one across from it, and then just kind of bend them. This is the hardest one of them all, okay? Just try to get it and to stick together, but try to get it to maintain that shape you have. If it goes a little out of whack, it's okay. Just try to get it as close as you can. All right. I'm just trying to make it straight here. See, that's why liquid glue is the best, because when it's not perfect, you can kind of slide it a bit. Alrighty, we got that one. And then just move to the next one. And this time you can put it on both. On the top half of both of them. And these ones get a little bit easier. We're still trying to keep it across from each other, but it's easier to press down on it. Just hold it a couple seconds till it almost is secure, and then do the last two, just the top halves. Fold it and fold it in. All right, now just flip it over and just poke down so that all of the sides will start sticking together. Okay, and I have a little bit of glue that I went over on one of them, so I'm just going to stick a tissue down there. Just kind of soak it up. I'm going to use my tweezers to get it off. Get out of there. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So while this is drying a little bit, I got a little on the bottom too. Some of it will leak out, so just be conscious of where you put it down. Alrighty. And you can also take a circle punch or one of the circle dies and cut it out of whatever color. This would be Rococo rose cardstock, and glue it over this if you don't like how this looks with everything folded over. Okay, just make it a little bit smaller than this. Okay, you don't want it larger. It would stick out. Unless that's what you like, but I would make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm just going to give it one more push before I put it to the side. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry a little while. Okay, and for the tags, I use the many heart dies to take one of the Love You Always foil sheets, that's the Rococo Rose color also. One out of the Rococo Rose of the So Ombre 6x6 sheets, which are free with a $50 purchase. They're part of the Saleabration. And I used the Hydrangea dies to cut out my favorite little label from the Hydrangea dies. Okay, and then I have the Sentiment with Love from the Hydrangea Haven stamp set, and I'm going to, stamp that right onto that label with the tuxedo black ink. All right, now what we want to do with this is I want this solid heart, that's not the foil, to stick up just a little bit like that. What I'm going to do is use some dimensionals. And I'm just going to place it so that the top shows, just like that. Okay. All right, so now we have that done. We'll put that to the side, and this should have dried up a little bit. And we're going to take one of our bottles. You can get any kind of mini bottle you want. Now, if it's, I think they're pretty standard, but if it's skinnier, it's not really a problem because you cinch it at the top, so it would be nice. This is just a tiny bit bigger, has a little bit of room. But if you need it a little bit bigger, each one of these strips is 1 1/8. Okay, so you could just, there's 6 of them, and then a 1/2 inch just to join it. So if you need more space, you just do it evenly, okay? Or maybe, just do it evenly. So you could add an 1/8 to each one and have it to be 1 1/4 each one. Or go down and just, if you want it smaller, just make 1 of each of these strips at 1 inch, okay? So that's how and you might have to, instead of 1 1/4, if it's wider, you might have to make this on the bottom a 1/2 and this a 1/2 so that it has enough room to pinch it closed. All right. But you could always message me and tell me and I'll help you out. All righty. Okay, so we're going to put, this time I'm definitely going to find the back. There's the back. I'm going to put my wine in. And it fits nicely. And what we're going to do is we're going to thread it and we're going to be pinching it. And it's going to kind of make like a little star around it. Okay, I used some of the metallic edged ribbon. You could use the Blushing Bride ribbon that's new. You could use the polka dot ribbon. You could use the seam binding ribbon. But this was the one I liked the best. All right, so what we're going to do with the back here, we're going to start. Now this is going to be our front. These are the 2 that we're going to want the ends to poke out for tying. So we're going to start going through this one and the one on the other side of the score line from it. We're just going to poke it through and pull. Okay, then just bend the next score line and put it through, and we'll do that all the way around. Just like how you poked the holes, that's what you're going to do to put the ribbon through. Next score line, just squeeze it. Oopsie daisy, I missed one. Oh, you know what? I covered it up with the, I guess I didn't get the hole in the exact right spot for the piece that connects the little strip on the edge. So I had to poke it again, that's all. And the next two, you might have to stop and put your ribbon into a point so it's easier to get through the hole. Okay, and we're all the way around, alrighty? So now just kind of work out anything you don't like how it's laying. And then we're going to put our wine in there. And then we're just going to gently pull. Okay, what you can do is just tie a knot and just gently pull it until you see all the sides pinch in. And just make sure it's tight enough so when you pick up your wine it doesn't slide out. And then you just tie your bow. And you can pull it to make sure it's in the middle of this if you don't do it right at first. Mine always seems to get a little off center when I'm tying the bow. Alrighty, then we just cut it off. Now, if you have the, I'm not sure the name of it right now, the Valentine's Day stamp set, this would go lovely with the Valentine's Day stamp set too, to give to all your girlfriends or ladies in your life. Just shine it up. I might have got a little bit of glue on this. Okay, and then we're just going to glue this right in the middle, up and down and sideways with liquid glue so that we can move it around. I didn't put any right on the outsides of the heart because that will hang over a little bit. It'll eventually dry, but I figured I don't need any extra glue hanging out there with how I am with glue. Okay. Just kind of make sure it's where you want it. And then we need some opal rounds. And I'm going to put 3 right on this side of the heart. Okay. And if you're wondering what these are, I think I got this tip from the Paper Pixie. She gets these passport envelopes from Amazon, and she keeps puts 2 in each, and she keeps them nice so they don't fall out. You don't have to keep ripping open the package every time. Alrighty. Okay, and then we have our little label. I just used a little bit of twine from the snail mail ribbon combo pack, twine combo pack. I always say that wrong. I'm just going to loop it through the top hole. I really like this label. I know I think this is the 3rd time I've used it because there's lots of little sentiments, this catalog. All right, and then I'm just going to tie it. And you can put this down with a glue dot if you don't like the other side, or you could just do it with Rococo rose paper cardstock if you don't want to use the So Ombre paper. I'm just going to put a double knot And then we're just going to cut it off. And that's it. That's your whole little Valentine wine bottle for a friend or a love or a mom. You could also make this in male colors, masculine colors for gentlemen. Or just red would be good for gentlemen too. Thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to buy any of these supplies, you can get them from me through Stampin' Up at the address at the top of the screen. And please, please subscribe and hit the like button if you like this project. And you can hit the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye.